Where would we be without digital storage? We'd be stuck in traffic trying to take our film to get developed at the drugstore, and might even still be using scrolls or something. But believe it or not, the long odyssey from the era before electricity to store terabytes of information on pint sized SSDs actually begins with paper. Specifically, it began with punch cards, which were quite important way before the year 2000, when the state of Florida suddenly decided that poking holes in a piece of paper was too difficult for whatever reason. In fact, punch cards and punch tape go all the way back to the early 1700s when they were used in looms to weave textile patterns. Patterns on tape could correspond to machine instructions as they did in things like player pianos, or to numbers and characters as they did in things like early computers. Tabulation machines from the late 1800s used punch tape to help count large data sets, including helping to finish the US Census way ahead of schedule in 1890. Of course, punch cards don't exactly hold a lot of data, with a typical punch card holding less than a tenth of a kilobyte. You'd need about 28 billion of them to match properly the capacity of a 2 terabyte modern hard drive. As digital computing started becoming more and more popular, magnetic storage came in to dominate. But this does not mean that hard drive was the direct successor to punch cards. An early form of magnetic storage was drum memory, large cylinders of data written on the outside of modern hard drives. Drum memory had read-write heads, but these were stationary. Instead, the whole drum spun around at high speeds while the head waited for relevant piece of data to come around. Although they could store a lot more data than old punch cards, their capacity was still pretty tiny by modern standards, only a few kilobytes each drum. Memory was actually quite popular until the 1950s, but magnetic tape was actually patented a few years prior. Drum memory was far more enduring, as tape drivers are still widespread today for archival storage, was and still is great for cheap data storage in bulk, but with slow access time resulting from having to constantly wind the tape back and forth, a quicker solution was needed. As computers became more powerful, work was done in 1940s on using cathode ray tubes to store data. The same type of tube can be found in old school TVs. By firing electronics to create patterns representing ones and zeros that would stick to tube. However, core memory quickly became much more popular, especially due to its lower cost for working memory, which we today refer as RAM or RAM. Unlike earlier forms of magnetic storage, core memory didn't have any moving parts, making it much quicker. Core memory worked by changing the magnetic polarity of small ion oxide loops, which were woven together. In fact, core memory was often made by hand by garment workers, but the small capacities of core memory led to the development of a compromise between access speeds and size. The familiar hard drive was introduced in 1956, one of those massive old school IBM machines. Although it was 50 feet tall and contained 50 platters, this early drive only held 5 megabytes. But after IBM introduced a model with one head per platter to speed up access times, the foundation was laid for the modern hard drive. And speaking of getting smaller, there was still no solution for a portable data until the venerable floppy disk appeared on the scene in 1971. Although it did use magnetic storage technology like hard drives, their smaller size and lightweight made them useful for relatively small programs. and 5s that were common in that day. The first discs were those 8-inch giant ones that only held 80 kilobytes, but gradually floppy capacity grew and we got the ubiquitous 1.44 megabyte 3.5-inch discs that aren't really useful anymore for anything other than making pen holders and cool artsy crafts or throwing them at your friends. Once you get tired of playing Origin Trail, although floppy drives tried to stop their demise with the release of the super floppy products such as the almost famous zip drive in the mid 1990s, but the writable CD and later the flash memory nailed the floppy's coffin shut with much higher capacities and lower prices. Although flash memory was first developed in 1980, it took a while to be widely used for long term storage. It ultimately pushed optical media into increasing irrelevance, as well as the ever popular USB thumb drives. SD cards came to dominate the market because flash tech doesn't rely on moving parts like optical drives. Access times are much shorter, and tiny transistors that store data on flash drives keep getting smaller and smaller. We now have multiple terabyte SSDs and SD cards that can store over 512 gigabytes. You need 7 billion of those standard punch cards that we talked about in the beginning of this episode to match just that SD card, which would stack 800 miles. So guys, thanks for watching. Hope you liked the video. If you did, hit the like button and also don't forget to subscribe.